Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Welcome to episode number 22 in the book of Hebrews. Today's title is, What is my soul anchored to? Because it's a solid and fixed foundation. And so we're going to follow what our anchor rope of our soul is and see what it's attached to. So we're going to do like the spiritual discovery process, a little bit of a hunt. So the question is, what am I going to anchor my soul to, and what it is attached to? And then the better question is, who do I find on the other end of my soul's anchor rope? So the writer is going to walk us through this journey, and we're going to find who's at the other end of the rope. So the anchor rope of my soul. And how did it get, we're going to kind of ask the question, how did it get so strongly attached? So this is from Hebrews chapter 6. And it talks, the title of the section is The Certainty of God's Promise. So it's going to head towards an anchor near the end, so don't get lost here. For when God made a promise to Abraham, since he had no one greater by whom to swear, he swore by himself, saying, Surely I will bless you. So this is the promise that God gives to Abraham, and multiply you. And thus Abraham, having patiently waited, obtained a promise. For people swear by something greater than themselves, and in all their disputes an oath is final for confirmation. So these promises are based on something, and he's exploring the two things that the promise to Abraham is based on. So when God desired to show, verse 17, so when God desired to show more convincingly to the heirs of the promise the unchangeable character of his purpose, he guaranteed it with an oath, so that by two unchangeable things, in which it is impossible for God to lie, we who have fled for refuge might have strong encouragement to hold fast to the hope set before us. So basically he's saying there's two things that the previous promise was based on, both great things. Number one, God can't lie. Number two, his character is solid. It's unchangeable character. That's his Hesed, steady character. And then he's going to get to now. So what about now? So that's kind of all true stuff from the Old Testament. So verse 19 gets to now. We have this as a sure and steadfast anchor of the soul, a hope that enters into the inner place behind the curtain where Jesus has gone as a forerunner on our behalf, having become a high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. All right, so this passage, it starts with a promise to Abraham, and it's a wonderful promise. It's God saying, I'll be with you. I'm good. You're my people. And then we have to ask, how good is the promise, that promise, and every other promise of God? What's it based on? And so he says, what's it backed up by? Well, what's it sworn by, so to speak? Well, two things. His words, and he can't lie, so that's solid. Secondly, his character, and that character can't change, and it's wonderful, and it's faithful, so that's great. It also asks kind of the questions behind the scenes is, well, what kind of people are we? Well, we are people that are in the storms of life. We have to flee for refuge because, we have we're frail and we need something stronger than us. So based on the character of the words unchanging and his character being changing, he says that's the way that the Old Testament people understood their surety in God, so to speak. So we are going to ask, as new believers, what are we anchored to? And we're going to get to the question of who are we anchored to? So we're going to dive off our boat, follow the anchor rope of our souls, whom we have fled from because we're in the storms of life. We need an anchor. So we're going to follow that rope, and we're going to find what it's attached to. So previously it's attached to the permanent words of God and its unchangeable character. And now we're going to add a third. It's this solid anchor. So we are anchored because we're in the stormy sea of life. So do you wonder what your soul is anchored to? So we're going to follow our anchor rope. So if we did that, let's say we're on the rope in the stormy sea of life. Here's the picture for today. We have to grab the anchor rope. We're going to dive off our boat and kind of shimmy down the rope. It's going to go down to the ground, and then it's actually going to go into the water, and then it's going to go out of the water, which apparently was not unheard of in ancient anchoring techniques. It's going to be on the land. So the rope is on the land. We're still following it, and we're going to follow it all the way to Israel and all the way to Jerusalem. And then our anchor rope goes into the temple. And then there's this curtain, and behind the curtain is the Holy of Holies. And we see that our rope goes into the temple, past the curtain, and into the Holy of Holies. And so we go beyond the curtain, we peek behind it, and we expect the Ark of the Covenant, which has been in there for a long time, and there's some manna in there and the staff of Moses, and we find our anchor. We come to the end of our anchor rope, and what's it fixed to, and who's it fixed to? And the writer of Hebrews says, there we find Jesus holding the anchor of our souls, the anchor rope of our souls. There he is in the Holy Holies, him being solid as ever. So if we go to this place of priesting sacrifice, of atonement, of pleasing God, somebody is in there, and Jesus is in there permanently, solidly, preeminently. What's my soul attached to? Why is it so solid? It's not what, it's who. It's Jesus. It's there, Jesus, in the right place, doing the right thing for all time. I am anchored. I am attached. I am fixed to him solidly. I am anchored to Jesus. Where? In the right place. Effectively. Now and forever. So the promise will never fail. It's perfect. It's based on a God who never lies, number one. A character of God that never changes. And then number three, it's attached to Jesus. My soul, the solidity of my soul and the promises of God, it's because my soul is anchored to Jesus. I find him on the other end of my anchor rope, holding the anchor of my soul.